Like many before it, the 29th edition of the United Nations Conference on Climate Change needed extra time for an overall agreement to be reached. In the early hours of Sunday, exhausted delegates in Baku finally found a compromise on the most crucial issue of COP29, a new climate financing regime. The UN Climate Change Executive Secretary called it an insurance policy for humanity.
Like any insurance policy, it only works if premiums are paid in full and on time. Promises must be kept to protect billions of lives.
The sum agreed on to be guaranteed by the developed nations is at $300 billion annually, much lower than developing nations had been asking for, with many delegates making their frustrations clear. However, as others pointed out, the compromise was accepted regardless, as there is now an expectation that this sum will serve as the foundation to reaching the goal experts say is needed, 1.3 trillion annually.
It was very important for the African group to have that number, 300 billion by 2035, as a floor and not a ceiling. And we've been able, very late in the negotiation, to add the term at least, to ensure that this can only be a starting base, a minimum, due to the vast needs of developing countries.
Voluntary contributions by rich nations not included in the group of developed nations in the convention, like China and South Korea, are supposed to help reach that ceiling, as well as multilateral development banks, investments by the private sector, and revenue from taxes and the carbon markets. As did most delegates, the European Commissioner for Climate Action stressed that an agreement being reached in difficult geopolitical times was particularly significant. But he also pointed to an issue close to the EU's heart, where at least some progress also had been made.
Ladies and gentlemen, another topic that was on our minds this week is reducing emissions. It was not the focus of this COP, but we wanted more, because the world needs more of it. And even though the UAE consensus was attacked, we did move forward, even though it was just a bit. We did manage to safeguard Dubai and take some steps forward. It is less than what we have liked, but it is better than we feared.
Next year's UN climate conference will be hosted by the Brazilian city of Belém, where, among other issues, mitigation in general and the Amazon rainforest in particular will take center stage.